Footy fans, Pommy here. Welcome to PommyInOz. And bloody hell, Hawthorn have given Carlton a lesson in control in four-quarter management, winning their game 80-60, making it look easy at times, but were troubled. Is it time to have alarm bells on Michael Voss? Is it alarm bells at Carlton? Is it curtains? Or can the Blues bounce back? Stick around, we'll break down exactly how Hawks managed to get the win against Carlton. Look at Carlton's struggles that are presenting and patterns emerging, but also highlight how Hawthorn are really looking like one of the teams to beat this year with their ability to adapt in-game and control when the chips are down. We're going to have plenty to chew on, plenty to unpack in this, so grab yourself a cuppa, settle in, and let's crack on. Then, so let's break this game down. Under the lights at the wonderful MCG, Hawthorn ended up winning comfortably, it has to be said, by 20 points, finishing 12-8-80 to Carlton's frustrating 8-12. Now, if you're a Carlton fan, maybe time to bring that sofa just off the wall so you can hide behind it. If you're a Hawthorn fan, it's another game where you've just found a way of managing in it. And if we go into the first half, it was a real tighter than your dad's wallet type of affair. Both teams throwing themselves into it. Carlton set the tone. George Hewitt, he was playing like his life depended on it. Slotted the first for the Blues after having a disallowed goal from TDK. Paddy Cripps again, just running around like a man possessed, winning everything that is considered hard ball. Hawthorn, though, they just managed to find ways to constantly relieve that scoreboard pressure valve with uncontested style of football, making it easy to slice through Carlton's forward press. And they went through it like a hot knife through butter. And at quarter time, it was a real tight game. And it set us up for an absolute cracker in the second. And then the rain started to fall in the second. Hawks kind of burst out firing. They got two quick goals, really rattling the Blues. And the Blues showed a bit of heart, a gutsy bit of spirit. They roared back. They really found ways to get in there. Jack Silvani looking sensational in the forward line, filling up that Harry Mackay-sized hole. Even Jesse Motlop got in on the action. He kicked a beautiful, cheeky goal. And it made me miss home, to be honest. It was like watching a cold, wet, windy day at the Turnbull ground. As the siren came in, Hawthorn managed to do what they always did, kick a goal in the right moment, and it was a slight Blues lead, and it was game on. In the third, you saw Hawks start to go through the gears. Suddenly, that uncontested brand really started. Lots of handball chains, being willing to play handball in their defensive half. Maribor Chol looked sensational, getting the lead so many times, as we saw the ominous signs in the first quarter of him getting away from Lewis Young. Jack Gunston, he was subbed into the game. He just showed that he is Mr. Clutch. And Carlton started to wobble, a bit like Uncle Dave after his 8th pint at a christening. And the pressure started to slightly drop. And that's when Hawthorn started to have that freedom. Hawthorn incidentally kept their pressure about the same. Carlton started to go long, started to cough up possession quite a bit, allowing the Hawks continually to nick in. And then in the fourth quarter, you saw this game style that the Blues play, contested, hard edge. It started to really shift the momentum of this game. And James Sicily, as he often is, he moved forward. It allowed them to always have one out in the forward line. The forward started to buzz at Hawthorn because of the quick goal movement. And before you know it, the game was over. The Blues tried, and it can't be understated. The effort was there, but simple misses, kicking all over the shop. At this stage, energy bars were at 0%. And Hawks, in the end, kept Carlton at arm's length, winning the game by 20 points and really making you scratch your heads at why they play this brand of football. And we've chewed through the game. Let's dive deeper into the takeaways and we'll chat about Hawthorn's impressive depth, Carlton's mounting problems over the last 20 games. Is Michael Voss feeling the heat? Why TDK can win that ruck contest and get us first ball in though. Plenty to dissect. Plenty of banter, I suppose, we can find, and some serious matters at hand. So let's get started. Takeaway one is Hawthorn's adaptability and tactical masterclass. Hawthorn have really know how to find Carlton's sharp edge and blunt it. Sam Mitchell really did find ways to quickly enact Carlton's crystal clear game plan to become a cloudy quartz almost. They came into the contest with a real structure. Number one was Lloyd Meek, right? They managed to make sure from the first quarter that TDK never had the ability to follow up his ruck work, and he always stayed defensive side. Lloyd Meek may have, in some people's eyes, lost the ruck battle, but the influence of TDK was taken away, and we saw this with Nankervis. It's a real clever thing they do, because what TDK does is drive Carlton forward, and this time, unlike last time, we did win the physical clearance count. You look at the post clearances and the way the ball was got from them areas, it's evened up. But when we talked about them doing well in the clearance and stoppage last week and not getting the control, this week that was there. But one of the big things was keeping these players away from the fall of the ball and the second efforts. That's how Carlton get their work. That was very clever. That was incredibly clever from what Lloyd Meek did. Another one as well was how Newcombe and Ward and Nash worked on Paddy Cripps to try and separate him from the other boys. And that was again what we saw with McIntosh last week. Drag him out to where TDK is. Don't let him get a second effort in. And although Cripps, brilliant at what he does, all that hard work goes to waste if players aren't presenting, aren't allowing him to get the ball out, and they spread. And it's, again, Cripps just doesn't have any mates with him at times. And the way you can isolate Cripper is so sad to watch as a fan, as a blue boy, because you can see why he racks up the votes, because it would take the gloss off what he did if someone was smart enough and worked hard enough to get themselves free and back on that. I look at that and just think, if I'm Chad Warner, if I'm Nick Dacos, I would love to have Cripps next to me, because I would have 45 touches every week without getting touched. And it is so sad because it's a tactical masterclass. Carlton's forward entries dried up with purpose. They became unfruitful. It was like, you know, it becomes like you're starved of it. And it's like seeing mirages in the desert. Once Cripps is taken away, once TDK's second effort's in, you saw it in the first with TDK's goal. Carlton can drive it there quickly. Once Cripps and TDK can't get that second effort and then drag you forward, no one else has the presence of mind. And although Cripps racked up the touches, he was desperately needing someone to be there to help him. And the way that Jai Newcombe can influence the game because people are running with him, with very similar output numbers, shows you the problem there. They are really stifling Cripps, the way that we set up and the way that we're really looking to defend first. 4 midfielders there with high defensive numbers from the Blues versus just 1 or 2 from Hawks. Carlton do tackle, Carlton do defend frantically well, but winning that ball back and having all them contested possessions and not converting them into uncontested possessions is an absolute tactical masterclass from Sam Mitchell. He's playing chess. Carlton are playing checkers. Their midfield can transition the ball with purpose so quickly because of the way they set up. Where the Blues, you've got to give Mitchell credit. Richmond did it. They did it better. Number 2 is Carlton's game plan. Is it sustainable? Now, this one might sting, but it's got to be said. Right now, the Blues game plan is simply unsustainable. We've had a good case study from 2024. 2023, it was vibes, and you saw why this game style can work to an extent as you buster over the top and you stay fresh. Carlton came into that with nothing to lose. As the vibes have gone away and now it's more of a tactical game, teams are expecting it, close the corridor, you can see why contested ball is becoming less and less prevalent. Teams win contested ball and get it out. And when you look at the Blues, they often win contested stats. They won the clearances in this possession. They tackled hard as well. But the problem is there's no purpose behind it. It's an absolute huge red flag when you're looking at Camporelli having 9 touches and 7 of them when he's played predominantly on the wing, ask 7 contested. And then you look at D'Ambrosio, who has had 1 more contested possession and had 25 touches. Blake Acres was at 50% contested possession. This is not how modern footy is played. Modern footy is spread. It's uncontested chains. You look at how Hawthorn start their contested chains. It's in the defensive 50. Handball, 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 right, we're out. Let's go and play football. And Carlton don't have that. And it's few and far between. And then you look at players like young Ollie Hollands. You look at Lucas Camporelli. They should be having the time of their lives because first, second year players, they're not getting your knees dirty. D'Ambrosio probably didn't know at times Carlton were on the field because he keeps his width and he will be found. He works hard up and down the ground waiting for that because they spent the whole game attacking space. And that's what you watch with Hawthorn. Hawthorn win the ball, players run on because they back the man to win the tough ball. Carlton's still at that level. There's players time and time again behind Cripps in contested areas as he's winning the ball. So all he's got to do is handball to a player in contest. He would thrive under that. Most AFL players would see Cripps and go, 9 times out of 10, Cripper wins it. And the pace of the ball will hit me and I can inject the pace of the game. You saw that with Adam Sard. Adam Sard's more than capable of breaking the lines. But when you saw Adam Sard, he had to do a moment of brilliance because no one ran with him. No one ran with him ahead of the ball or behind him. In fact, when they got ahead of the ball, they all started to get into one-on-one situations. Not many people leading, and Sard's brilliance got us out of that. If you highlight Lucas Camporelli for a second, having almost the same contested possessions for almost a third of the touches shows you what's wrong when he's only played half the game. Carlton's width, their spread just even in structure isn't there. So how can they move the ball like that? It's so labour intensive. You look at the first half, how hard Carlton worked for them goals versus Hawthorn's goals to stay just in the game were very easy. And that's why when Voss says these mind-boggling things, we run out the game well, it's a miracle they do even have the energy because when you look at it long-term, it's not good. They move the ball, Hawthorn, with pace and purpose. And that's not foot speed. That's pace of the ball and purpose. Players running on. Where Carlton get bogged down in this almost like Herculean effort to play one-on-one football. And this is the current style. It's problematic in today's AFL. Teams who spread well have options. Teams that spread well can carve you up. Carlton can battle all day inside. And yes, they may finish 8th and 7th. But to beat the top teams, you can't maintain 250 pressure for 4 quarters. It's unsustainable. No one can do it. It's going to cause fatigue. It's going to cause fatigue issues. And it's no surprise Carlton's injuries get progressively worse, almost astronomically by about round 2, because this brand ain't it. Voss, if you're listening, mate, sort it out. Because this season is slipping away faster than Carlton's efficiency in the second half. Takeaway 3 is kind of an extension of takeaway 2. You look at the way that the two sides play, and both were kind of similar in their tall makeup. You dive into the glaring issue with Carlton is how they are playing all their tall players to just cope with barrage of long bombs and no one's doing it. And then they're not creating outlets of space. You look at Josh Battle playing that loose role like McGovern. He's had hardly any contested possessions. He has been allowed to be loose to attack the aerial ball that's bombed in and then get himself free in the pockets to distribute play and be the metronome maker. Let's hit it with numbers that really do make you cringe. Carlton lost by 34 points to 5 from scores generated from the back half. Why? Too slow, too predictable, too congested, too reluctant to take risks. You've got tall blokes there like Wheaterin who's winning the ball, but then you've got Young, you've got Haynes, you've got McGovern not making any outlet for him. They're looking to kick behind Sard, not allowing him to go. If you watch how Dan Houston, how their halfbacks play, Weddle when he was there, D'Ambrosio when he slides down there, it's a kick to the corridor, handball quickly out to D'Ambrosio running. Carlton did it once, Sard took the piss. That's the modern day game pattern of football. Go slow, look for the injection of pace when it opens up. Move the zones by switching it. Carlton very rarely did that in the second half. It was kick to the corridor, bomb at the ground. Kick to the pocket, bomb down the ground, nothing on there. Carlton's defenders seem allergic at the minute with the ball in hand to take that corridor, constantly chipping it just forward slightly for a long roost down there. You need to go and play your Ollie Hollands, your Sards into the game. take a player out of it. You look at how Hawthorn's short kick, they do it to pull a midfielder into the defensive area, to pull a forward out, so they create that running lane for the players. You look at Haynes and McGovern's running lanes when Carlton do retain the possession, it's horrific. When you look at how Carlton attack the high ball, you've got 2 or 3 peeling off your man, no communication out the back. Haynes and McGovern constantly go, right, we'll come and get this ball. They miss it, and then they leave players out the back. And then it's that desire to break even at the contest. Lewis Young, time and time again, Maribor Chol, only had to touch him once. The first 30 seconds, he did it. You look at Hawthorn, they are actively hunting open space, which then creates uncontested possessions, moving it through the corridor and creating opportunities where you have the outnumber. All the teams commit men forward defensively. Carlton did that quite early on, and it was quite successful. But it's unsustainable when all you're using is not structure, you're using hard work and sheer will and determination. Carlton just eventually get resort to hugging the boundary, long kicks to contest, and they don't even break up even at the contest. At times it becomes loose, and you saw Carlton have success with TDK intercepting. It's not a sustainable model. Hawthorn look vulnerable, but the difference is Hawthorn keep actively trying to play that. Carlton went to that. Michael Voss addressed this kind of by saying that it's a brave defensive effort, but that's no denying it. Carlton's defence are brave, but they sit too deep. They need to back themselves to attack from this area. They struggle to score in traffic, and they are now falling further and further behind when you look at the catchment of the last 10 games, which is a really good reasonability for form from the rest of the pack. Number 4 is Hawks playing images of their coach. I'm a firm believer that it's very hard as a coach to stray away from your natural game plan. And when you look at Hawthorn, they are very much like Sam Mitchell was my favourite player playing football. It's smart, it's patient, and it has a good metronome effect. When you look at how the Hawks play, the vision takes shape on the park. It's good to watch. They play with brains, they play with composure, and they play with a real swagger. They really enjoy their defensive efforts as much as goals. It starts in the middle when you look at someone like Jai Newcombe versus Cripps. He wins that tough ball, he gets the head over the football, but he has players running with him into space. And that's proven by Cripps versus Newcombe. Newcombe had 9 score involvements and had players running all the time. Cripps was doing all that hard stuff, but didn't get the option to give that to someone that was in space. You look at how Newcombe's playing. He embodies everything about Sam Mitchell. Grit, smart, no nonsense, does the right things well. He's that man every week. And then you combine that with someone like Cam McKenzie, who won't get the kudos that he deserves, but how he quietly sits in space around contests, cleverly distributes the flow of the ball, understands the nuances of where to be, and instead of racking up large numbers, he's like your mate who's quietly at the back of the pub quiz and just says nothing but the right answer, no pissing about. He's smart, he's composed, and when he finds the ball, he gets them going into safe areas. What is really exciting about Hawthorn versus Carlton is the amount of times you saw them just slow the game down, go to the right, go back to the left, shifting through the gears, not being rushed, playing at their pace. When the option presents itself, they go. If the option doesn't present itself, we go backwards to go forwards. They showcased in the first quarter a 300 pressure rating. By the third, that was down to 180, but that pressure, that Vermeeren pressure was replaced as the legs got tired by a 180 pressure, but their ability to hold the ball, keep their hands on it, conserve the energy, make them chase shadows. It's expansive football that time and time again slices Carlton apart. And from 2015 to now, I only think at times with Bolton did we ever see the ability to kick and hold the ball and have a bit of patience. And that was deemed too depressing to watch, too unintelligent, too boring. And then there was that pressure to go a bit more bold. The ability to control is linear with Hawthorn. It's intelligent, smart, exciting football. It's an example of working smarter, not harder. Carlton are the heavy lift champions of the world. They work very hard. Hawthorn use energy where it's needed, and it showed on the scoreboard. Right at the end of the game, Hawthorn fans could get excited because although Sam Mitchell won't be excited by that performance, their ability to control the 4 quarters is exemplary because Carlton play it hard very early. And then let's look at Carlton on Michael Voss. Let's put him under the microscope. Lost on the field, lost on the selection table, lost in the press room. Like, you've got to brace yourself here because I'm not trying to be hard. I'm trying to be cruel to be kind. Carlton look lost off it. When you hear Michael Voss speak, seeing the game out well, and then he's presented by saying, oh, well, we won the inside. It's 50 count. It's 19 both times. But you've only got 2 goals in both of them fourth quarters. He's pathetic. He's like stepping into a time machine and hearing David Teague's old script. It's like deja vu. He used to say that when the time was gone. And that's the problem with Carlton's, in my opinion, the last 3 years with Michael Voss. He's looking at very lineal things that mean nothing in today's game. Stoppage means nothing in today's game. Contested ball doesn't mean anything in today's game. Everything he's going to that spread, that loose, candid structure. And we're just a congested mess. We are the Eton mess of football. It's just a drop trifle that we've scrubbed together and said it's a dessert. People will buy that, but in reality, it's meant to be something else. We are compact, we crowd the ball, and you know what? We sometimes play the game like bees, like moths to a light with contested ball. The zone defence quickly turns into a free-floating, wibbly-wobbly chaos machine. There's no organisation, no shape, there's no communication, and you hear Voss in the press conference. He has no communication. When he's saying to journalists with a smarmy grin, oh, I thought Charlie Curnow was good. You've got to see what you value. Do you value goals or the linear things he does, bringing the ball to ground? Gravity brings the ball to fucking ground. It doesn't get 10 coaches' votes. I've never seen anyone go 10 coaches' votes G-gravity. So here's the kicker. Carlton's system demands so much intense high-pressure ratings. Over 200 for Carlton to win. That's just to keep your head above water, just to stay in it. It's exhausting. It's not exhilarating to watch. It won't be exhilarating to play. It's unsustainable because plan B is try harder. Michael Voss's theory sounds good when you hear it. Try harder, that's good. But it's not when you understand English because it is slowly killing the flow of the game, killing the game plan. It's like watching a League Two side play in the FA Cup. It really is. Knowing if we play football against this side, we will lose. If we bully them, potentially they've got to open up by going hard. You saw that with Geelong, that fantastic win last year. We bullied them, so they had to open up, which made it easier for us. The problem is it requires so much strength and it's very easy to negate. We've seen it for 2 weeks in a row this year. TDK, defensive side of the contest. Cripps, defensive side of the contest, creates space between him and his outlet ball. The drive will stop. The engine room is stagnated. The evidence on the field in the post games are almost weirdly the same. They're neutral, they're unassured, they're ineffective, they're worryingly directionless, and even more worrying, we've seen it before. We've heard it before. And it's almost contagious. Even Cripps, at the end of the game, to hear a man as great as him, who tries as hard as him, sound forlorn is really heartbreaking to watch. They're stifling the players, and this game plan, what we've seen in 2 weeks of what we've added, is bad. It's not top 8. We're not even talking about top 4 now. I said 6th to 12th. We're at the bottom end of 12th because we're still talking about pressure was good, effort was good. All right, then, let's talk about some positives. Pommy's player of the game, for me, can't look any further. Josh Battle, 9 intercept possessions, an outrageous efficiency of 86, 396 metres gained, 4 score involvements. He was everywhere. He read the play like your pop reading the Sunday paper. It was easier than beans on toast for him. He was just loose. He played the system well, and he was a constant metronome, and a large part of that obscene defensive half scores is thanks to Battle. He lived up to his name. He fought, he scrapped, and he absolutely bossed the forward press. Acquisition, the Hawks will be flying. Take a bow, Josh, mate. Absolute legend. And let's have a look at some of the post-match reactions. Voss, he acknowledged that they executed better than us. He said he can't ignore the ability to execute for longer. It's the difference in the end. And you see, that's the thing. They are executing a game plan that requires minimal effort in physical exertion. He said that Charlie Curnow competed well and did his job. He was anonymous for that game, and I'm Charlie Curnow's biggest fan. He brought to ground. He influenced the game. He had zero impact in that game, and it's fine to say. I think Charlie would say the same. I've spoke to Charlie at events. He's a very honest guy. I think he will have said he could have done better because it was very easy for Hawthorn. Again, it feels like there's a positive to show here. Feels like Michael Voss is genuinely at the end of the game saying 20 points against the side that's going to be top 4. Woohoo! Up the boys. Where Sam Mitchell totally contrast. He praised the team's resilience and strength. He praised Jack Gunston. He said he was pleased that Gunston and CJ could just come in and play their role. It's very important. However, he did echo the sentiments of the great Bill Belichick. We've won one in a row. You've got to keep the team grounded and improve on the start of the season. It's literally what Sam Mitchell's saying. He wasn't happy against Essendon. He was still unhappy here that they let the game get away in stages. There's still levels to go. A total myriad in coaching philosophies. One saying it's okay, you'll turn up next week. Sam Mitchell saying we've got to get better if we want to be talked about in the pointy end of the season. Looking ahead to round 3, Carlton desperately need a response now. 0-2. And they've got to match up against the Dogs, who, after one game, will see them tonight against the Pies. They've really shown a good resilience, and they will be happy to go contested against Carlton because Kennedy, Liberatore, they thrive on that. Lose another one, if the alarm bells aren't ringing at Icon Park, they'll be definitely sounding. Hawthorn get to go to their happy hunting ground, Tasmania. They face a very strong GWS side. The Giants will have their work cut out because you know what they say, the Hawks go down south, they're almost impossible to beat. Should be an absolute ripper. That's me out of here, footy fans. I'll be back. We'll have a VFL wrap. We'll be live for a couple of games on the weekend as well. Stay tuned. We will be here for Sunday, Sydney Fremantle. Can't wait for that one. See you later. Peace, love and light. Make sure you smash that like button. See you soon. I'm out.